A Slick On Life special.
Hennessy, Hip Hop 50 celebration. This is the conversation. So hip hop was invented obviously 15 years ago. We are here today as Mzansi picking up 10 years after hip hop was started in America. We are 40 years old. We picked up this thing pretty early, guys. Just to give you some facts, Hennessy is mentioned in over 2,500 songs, the hip hop. I'm talking about from Drake all the way up to Tupac. And we're celebrating that 50 years of hip hop because Sikeli Apa, shout outs to Hennessy again, because Hennessy is commemorating these 50 years by issuing a bottle, A&Rs, and his logo on it. And Hennessy is not new in supporting the creative arts, guys. They started it with painters. We're talking Shepherd Ferry, Obey. We're talking Cause, you should know who he is with the X's. Faith 47, the first female, but she won't be the only. She is the only South African to be in that list though. Dithetile, ndathetha. I'm now going to elaborate on how I know these people sitting next to me right now. Kalengo Party Time. Beginning of Boys and Bucks, what you see in Braamfontein happening right now, him and his crew, and I'm talking, this is even before Vinny. This is before Young Stilo. He was the first one to really be taking notebooks right there on our feet. And right now, he is who he is. Formidable DJ who really focuses on the craft and doesn't rely on the following that much. Next to me is, honestly, I'd say the female version of me. This is Moozlie. She's a staple to you as the breakfast. That's why we call her Moozlie. You understand? She is a culture entrepreneur. She started off as a presenter and someone who was advocating for the culture. She loved it so much, she became a part of the culture and did music. And now she works with brands and just helping them maneuver this terrain of the creative arts up here in Mzansi Africa. Reese. I didn't even remember this. I remember talking to you for the first time and you were like, dog, I was 14 years old. You were doing a show on radio. You had to screen rappers outside and there were grown men standing there and you looked at me and you were like, you spit. And I said 2 lines and you were like, Ngena Ndwana. I never looked back after then. Ndwana, you're here now. You're one of the people that I really, really love and admire in what they've taken from the information of the game and what they've represented with this game. Like, shout outs to you, dude. Last but not least, Stogie. I was telling the people on set that I met him in 2002 in Durban at a hip hop event. He was doing the event. He was later sitting on a table outside the event. I walked past him and I was so enamored by him. Like, I was like, yo, this guy is such a star. I want to be this guy. But I know I couldn't be this guy because I couldn't rap. So the only thing I said afterwards was, dude, I can't wait to be your friend. Fast forward a couple of years later, we meet each other in Joburg and he asked me to be his best man at his wedding. For real? Take a hit and sip for that, dog. This genre has had so much to do with how I've turned out. But now I'm turning it to you guys and I'm gonna ask you, and this question is for everybody, like how has this genre helped you? How has this, it's a lifestyle, it's not even a genre, like limiting it to music is too much, you know? So let's spread it. How is this creative outlet called hip hop, this lifestyle, how has it helped you? How has it helped you be the person you are and also maneuver in the world?
I'll go first. I think for me, it's always been about expression. I think even on a music making level for me, there's people who just like wake up in the morning and they're like, yo, cat, rat, set. You know, for me, it's always just been an expression. And I think hip hop has allowed me to do it in a cool way and not like funky, not that thing that brands put on a slideshow presentation to be like, this is cool, but actually live it on a daily basis. It's allowed me to express myself in a way that's real, in a way that speaks to me on an everyday level. Because a lot of people have to like check into their work modes, like, it's 9 o'clock, now I'm going to the office. Hip hop has allowed a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of creatives to just live themselves 24/7, even when they're working, you know? So I think for me, it's always just been a clear and lucrative space.
I mean, for me, I feel like I was introduced to hip hop like before I even went to primary school. I was still in kindergarten. So it has definitely influenced the way I dress, influenced the way I speak, you know, and influenced the way I carry myself, because the music I was listening to at that time, I wouldn't really say I understood it, but it made me feel a certain type of way. And when I saw it on television, that's what I wanted to be. So literally, hip hop has changed my life, man. Because who knows how I would have dressed or spoke if I hadn't, you know, bumped into it.
I think for me, the biggest thing that I've learned from hip hop was passion, family, and the love for it. And all of those things were things that I actually had in me but never understood until I watched Paid in Full.
Sure.
You feel me? So it was like, shout out to my mom for the way, I've been dressing like this since I was a baby. Like nothing.
Your mom is a hip hop head.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but she put me on.
Sure.
And my sister.
Sure.
Kels,
You're the
shout out to
youngest at
Kels.
home, middle child?
I'm the middle child, yeah.
J. Cole-ish.
But that's what hip hop did for me. It did change my life as well, but
For all of us.
it took a few other things to actually understand what this thing that I was about, like, made me realize or understand it more. Because I used to be with like other homies back then, but they were not about this. They were doing other stuff, like house or whatever. I was in the hood, and then I was just a weird one that dresses weird and listens to weird music. It was still weird, but the hip hop changed my life for sure. And I think the time that I watched Paid in Full, that's when I understood who I was.
For me, it's like I come from a continent of like, underdeveloped continent, a continent of disadvantaged people, right? And it gave me a privilege. It literally gave, I'm privileged because I learned at a very young age what I want to be. Most people live their whole lives and don't know what their calling is. You know what I mean? And for me, I knew it from a very young age, and it's because I was, I was attached and I was drawn to this culture, you know? The lens is always, it's where how I see the world. It's like, if you look at these glasses, it's like one is like my mother, politics, struggle, that. The other is hip hop. And that's how I synthesize the world. You know what I mean?
You touched me with that analogy. Now, it was born in 1973, 1520 Sedgwick Ave, Cohook. We know that from America. But we are not sitting in SA at the South African Hip Hop Museum, which is sponsored by Hennessy. Want to give a big shout out to Osmic. You've literally played your role in this game for so long, dude. You don't do the interviews, you're not in front of the camera, but dude, this game would be nothing without you. So shout outs to Osmic, who also is the main creator of Back to the City. Hope we see you there this year. And guess who is the main sponsor of Back to the City? Nango Hennessy. So the golden era of South African hip hop though, T, being the dinosaur in this evolution that started us, we want to ask you, like, Ndwana, where did it begin here? I hear about Liklab, I hear about Max Normal before it was called the Unvoord. I hear about Isaac Chokwe, who used to rap. I hear about a lot of people that I see in the game today that might not rap, but Specs, we can go on and on and on. So can khumbuza khasixelele wena yaqala njani la way yaqala phi le way, as close to detail as you can.
I would say salute to Back to the City, because the first time I even saw a number to South African hip hop was when they said, okay, 40 years? Okay, because to me, it's always related to how I personally, how I first interacted with local South African hip hop, you know? And for me, it was always POC, it was always Black Noise, right? And because if you say 73 and you're saying we're 40, so it means it's 83, right? That's even before I came back to South Africa.
I was 1 years old.
That's what I'm saying. I'm displaced. You know, I was born in Tanzania, exiled child, you know what I mean? So when I came, that means it's already, you know, and the only first instance that I've seen is POC on TV, watching these guys, and it's fully formed. It's like graffiti, it's D-boys,
yeah.
it's the DJ,
Yeah.
it's the impeccable MC, you know what I mean? Shaheen, you know what I mean? Right? And it's like, this is...
You're forgetting about the style, dog.
No,
The
it's
fit.
fully, yeah, the haircuts, the whole thing. And just looking at this thing and going, no ways. From here. You know what I mean? Like how people used to look at me or look at, you know what I mean? Be like, this guy's local, you know what I mean? Like that. You're like, this is crazy. So I wouldn't be able to place a day,
Sure.
one person, but I do remember Black Noise and POC having a little fracas about who's the main progenitor of this, you know what I mean? I know that POC and Black Noise, they had, they made a big, you know, they were very deliberate about you know, focusing on uniting it as a struggle for disadvantage. You know what I mean? It wasn't so much like, no, Black people, color people, you know what I mean? I mean, in fact, let's not get into lines, but for me, I feel like
It was a unifying factor.
Yeah, that was a unifying factor. And even them gravitating towards hip hop, it was like, yo, these guys are, I mean, hip hop was the one speaking about AFRICA, you know what I mean? And really drawing into like Africa as a place of like origin, and you know what I mean? So, you know, I mean, what do you call it? Native tongue,
Yep.
the African medallion. So, you know, it was natural. There was a natural
Jungle
fit.
Brothers, Solar Couriers,
Absolutely.
Dagoof.
Yeah.
So we got it from Dumi's point of view. Can you guys remember when hip hop not only became an American thing from you guys, but also was hold on. When that term, because I remember hearing the term South African hip hop, you know, when was it for you guys?
I mean, I built that thing up in my head. The first ever hard copy I got as CD was the Halloween TKZ album.
Word. You regard that as hip hop?
Yeah, I did. I still do till today.
Something he said as well. He said the same thing, but continue.
Yeah, and then that was my version of what SA hip hop means.
Sure.
From then until hearing Pro with my cousin, actually down here, Mary Fitz, we're buying some stuff and my cousins, I'm like, yo, what is this?
What is this?
And like going back to the house and he's explaining this thing and I'm like, yo, because I'm young, I don't understand, obviously, like, and that's where I pictured it. Oh, so TKZ, similar thing. Okay, makes sense.
Showcase. Moose?
I mean, I came up very much on MTV. So Missy Elliott
Work
was
for them too.
God is good.
God is great all the time.
Missy Elliott for me was a huge reference, and I didn't even regard it as hip hop. She was so pop. Ludacris was a very big reference. Eminem as well. It wasn't hip hop, it was just pop, so I didn't like get it on that level. But I think T-Bo touched Thursday Night Metro FM.
Straight up.
That was like hip hop, like Mr. Salvin, Ammunition. Like that was hip hop. H2O. Like that was like, oh, hip hop.
Hip hop.
You know, hip hop. I think that for me is when it like became a real thing. Like Squatter Camp, Umoya. Yeah. That was like, okay.
Yeah, Cuckoo Function.
You know what I mean? That was when it was like, oh, hip hop.
So
you know?
the lady part, when did you were like, I could do this too?
I think there was never a lady for me, especially locally. That's why I did it.
Nice.
That's exactly why I was like, because I had never rapped a bar in my life. I had never even done a yo. Mic check 1, 2. But at the time I was like hosting so many events with DJ Speedstar, and it was that golden era. I was interviewing, shout out DJ Speedstar. I was interviewing everybody at that time, like Casper Nyovest, Ricky Rick, aka KO, and this is like Skanda Republic, you know, Tulufelo, Family Values, Levels. We're actually having this conversation, like when you talk about the golden era of SA hip hop, it depends how old you are.
Definitely.
Because there's some people who are like, if you talk to Rashid, it's like Lee Club. You know, it's like that era. And then if you like talk to a person like me, it's definitely that 2014 era. And then if you talk to another person coming up, it's Boys and Bucks, you know? If you talk to somebody else, it's A-Reece and Nasty C. If you talk to somebody else, it's Blackie. There's a kid right now who's coming up on SA Hip Hop, it's Blackie.
Just like when you look at people from overseas, some of the kids there will be Tupac, some of them will be Wayne, some of them will be Young Thug.
Exactly.
You're right.
Exactly.
It depends on how old
And
you
you're
are.
wrong too, because there should be as a gatekeeper, there should be there really should be
A mark.
there should be a mark, you know, because you're absolutely right. Like, you know, like there's moments where we go, this is when I fell in love with it, and this is my favorite, this is my, you know.
But what is the golden?
But, you know, and I think you know, remember, there was a time when Pro Kid, Godessa, Mood Phase 5, you know what I mean? There was a point where it was like, okay, these guys are doing something, and recipes Pro. And it was like, oh, there's something happening here that kind of, we are occupying space. But the 2014, I think that era is different, because that era is takeover.
My dad and my older brother used to play TKZ, you know, all of that, Halloween, all of that. And it kind of had a hip hop influence into it. And around the same time, I was introduced to hip hop from America. So, but for me, when I was like, oh, this is South African hip hop, was when I bought Double HP's Acceptance Speech hard copy. That was like, what, 2006, 7? For me, that was like, oh, this shit is South African hip hop. You know what I mean? Because the way he would rap in Tswana in English and just
He was
make an
one of the-
amalgamation of the two, you know? Just adding vowels on the last line of the English, you know what I mean? Just to make it sound, yeah, you know what I mean? For me, that's where it started.
That's true.
And I agree with what you say. I feel like for me, personally, I was like, the golden era was like from 2014 up until now. But the golden era really should be from the 2000s up until the 2010s, because those are the underpinnings of hip hop. That's when a lot of things started, right? I mean, around, in between that time, you have hype started, you have tear gas pulling up. Before that, you have other cats coming in, and I feel like they really commercialized it to what it should be right now. They gave us the platform to do what we want to do on such a big scale. So I feel like for me, the golden era was like from the early 2000s up until 2010.
Got you.
Yeah.
I remember when I was a light T, you guys used to shout at us. I mean, not you guys, but like the Goodmans about putting vernac or making our sound feel South African. Because I come from the SoundCloud era where it's like we were mosh pitting and Travis Scott for sure, right? And you guys were just like, yeah, this thing is dope, but how about you guys try this and that? And because we were so hard-headed, we thought we were gonna take this thing to another level and whatever. We're listening, but not really. We never did that until now. And I'm sorry to mention I'm a piano, especially on this thing.
No, don't. Because Hennessy also does have a hand in Afro Nation. I told you that about the culture, right?
Yeah, but I feel like what that thing has done is it actually brought the South African entertainment industry as a whole alive again. But then, like, for the kids in the hood because the kid in the hood that looks at Stogie or A-Reece, they don't know if they can actually really do this thing. But they know they have that talent though. But because of like the language barrier and whatever, and like, they don't know if they can actually break that door.
I've never heard it put like that.
So when Amapiano comes up, they realize that, man, these guys are actually doing the same
Especially
thing.
when Focalistics say they were hip hoppers.
Yeah.
Or Youngstana say they were hip hoppers.
So it's like, yo, this Amapiano thing, like Abo Rismadlis or whatever, these guys are actually rapping here. Like, maybe I can do this thing too. And then you get a bunch of kids, right, that are just coming there, they're hitting the vernac thing, whatever. Also, they're looking at Blackie, yeah, that guy did it, I can do this shit too, right? And I think that's where hip hop is today, where it's like, it's inspired a lot of kids that never believed in themselves to try this thing out. Not do it, but at least try. Because back then, people didn't want to try. They might have had something, but they never tried.
Yeah, I think what's also exciting about SA hip hop is that, like, I've never heard about like Indonesian hip hop or Korean hip hop. Like SA hip hop is specifically branded, even in the new Grammy category that's come up. There's Afrobeats, what Amapiano, whatever, but specifically South African hip hop.
Didn't know that, Moose.
Specifically South African hip hop, and I don't think that there's hip hop anywhere else in the world
That's branded as the country.
branded as South African hip hop.
Can we go
is.
to please clap?
Yeah, no,
Guys,
no,
we
no,
did
no.
that. We did that.
No doubt.
Shout outs, I didn't know that. Stoke,
Shit.
what excites you
Right now?
about it? Besides your own rhymes.
Besides the fact that you still got bars.
I
Because
think
we know, right?
On his birthday.
I think just to see it still going, to be able to look out and still see, oh, okay, they're gonna take care of the more technical parts, the parts that are difficult to do. We got those guys. We got them. We good. You know, it's battle leagues. There's mad bars. We got them. We're good. We're safe. Those guys are taking us to Europe. See these ones? That we're gonna be in Europe with Bosmi, with everyone. We're gonna be in Europe. We're good. We're traveling. We're seeing the globe. You know, President Estrada is taking us to Miami. We're straight over there. We're good. You know what I mean? How we looking? We look amazing. Look at how the culture looks. We are the most stylish genre in the whole country.
Look at
we
this
are,
panel, B.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We are
hard.
forward thinking, amazing. You know. And then you even look at socially. No matter what you know, like there are people who come from this culture who are making inroads in who are thought leaders, you know what I mean? Who are actually like, you know, shifting things. You look at the Mail and Guardian, you say, okay, yeah, I remember you used to come to my show. I used to. So you look there, you say, okay, these are hip hop people. And then also, and you know, this might be the people who are not seen in boardrooms, you know what I mean? These are the guys who grew up on Squatter, who grew up on Armor, those are the guys who are going, yo, man, like, let me cut this check for you.
We're actually getting checks right now because the guys that we grew up with on hip hop that chose another route.
Absolutely. So when I look at it, I'm like, great example. My band, the first band I ever played with, not Tume in the Volume. On a TV show, they say, hey, come rap, we've got a band. Our time, our uncle, there's jazz guys who they probably didn't even have any regard for me, right? The guys I play with today, I had to wait for them to grow up. These are guys who grew up with D'Angelo. They grew up with Dilla. They grew up, so they understand this thing. They're jazz guys, but they understand this culture thing. I waited it out. I watched them grow up, and now I play with guys who know nothing but hip hop and jazz, and it's a real thing for them. And that's what's exciting to me. It's like, wow, they not caught up on some ego shit like they caught up to me, but even just generationally, I'm like, wow, I can now look and there's a whole nation out there. Whereas before it was like, oh, yo, that nigga got baggy pants. Who's that guy? You know? I'm a nigga. Now it's like, yo, everybody. You are not an anomaly. You are the standard.
Look at style even. No matter what genre you do, everybody dresses the hip hop round. Look at Virgil, hip hop. The main guy behind Kanye's stage and whatever got hired for Louis Vuitton. It's a hip hop thing.
Honestly, bro, Stogie T said a mouthful, you know, and I hope I'm not fanning out up in here. But
You should.
But Stogie said a mouthful. I believe that's what makes me excited about hip hop right now. That connection, you know, the fact that A-Reece can have a song with Stogie T, A-Reece can have a song with Blackie, you know, that's what excites me the most. Because we're united, man, and when we do it that way, we're stronger. So that's what excites me the most. The fact that Stogie can be like, bruh, this is a young cat, but he's going in. And I feel like I have a responsibility to also like support this and do it the right way. And to a point where it doesn't even feel detached. It doesn't feel like, why is A-Reece featuring Stogie T, bro? You know, when you actually look on social media, you get fans saying, damn, finally, bro.
Yeah, you guys are old souls.
You know what I mean? Shit like
Stogie
that.
caught up to his old soul. You are an old soul, about to be an old soul.
You know what I mean?
You guys met.
That connection just, it makes me super excited.
Hip hop is social proof.
So sorry. Can you say that again, Moozlie?
Hip hop is social proof.
No.
Hip hop is social proof in the sense that, like, when you have an idea especially as a business, you have to like put it out there and hope that it stands the test of time, that the customer, the consumer, people who are gonna buy into the idea will buy into it. And a lot of things are nice now. Like, do you remember when we had like Trilly Talk? Like now that's not a thing. Like now there's lasers, like things are constantly evolving, constantly changing, but hip hop is social proof.
Do you think hip hop is losing that political expression or whatever with the new kids now, like, and especially with the lyrics that they have right now and the stuff that they talk about in the music?
Good question.
Where do you think hip hop is gonna be in the next 3 years with that?
That's a good question. You know, there's this. I don't know it. I don't know the song myself, but there's this song, quite a song that I heard a long time ago. You know, when TV used to play. I don't want to say the name, but they used to play videos at the late at night. Yeah.
Sumunya Cruz.
Okay. All right.
We don't mention the channel, but everybody know.
Yeah. Right. So
Love that.
this and this quite a song was like, yo, mom's a nurse, dad's a cop. They're all on shift, so we're partying. And the song was just about partying, right? It was just about partying. And you just hear quite a song. You know what I hear? I hear social commentary. I hear the parents ain't home. The kids are raising themselves. That's what I hear. So you don't have to always be medallions, ANC, Zuma, you know, like you don't always have to do that for it to be social commentary. To me, a lot of like the piano lyrics, a lot of they're indicative of where you are. Come on, when you guys look at social media, it looks weird. It looks crazy. It looks crazy. And so the music is reflective of the crazy, of the dysfunction, of the weirdness, of the love side, you feel me? And that's to me, that's social commentary. When you spoke about Zoocci and Reece speaking towards your darkness, speaking anxiety, speaking about this dude dealing with like fame. Every time I listen to Reece, I'm like, he's always juggling, yo, man, fame, I don't know how to, you know what I mean? And you are dealing with that shit and you're finding it here. That to me is more powerful than anyone putting their fist up and saying Black Power.
Amandla.
As we mentioned the elements of hip hop, and we said DJing was one of them, right into close proximity with the MC. A lot of people, as Moozlie said, different eras describe different things as a golden era. So as a DJ, you know, back in the day, people were excited to go to places, to listen to radio. When the mixes came on, you'd hear things you didn't know, people you never heard of. And DJs were responsible for really being in the cockpit and piloting that vibe. Nowadays, the crowd runs things so much that DJs want to play what's already been heard a million times.
Win, no matter what.
I mean, still. So I want to ask you, as a DJ, like, how do you feel about that? Give me your points on playing popular tunes and discovering tunes to play to people. That aspect of the DJ being the teacher in front of the class, schooling people on what's really hot.
Bro, the fact that I have to answer this question is so uncomfortable to me.
That's what we want.
For me to become Uncle Party Time, in the time when you and me met, I've always played new stuff.
That's why you're on this panel.
Yeah, thanks. Another thing is that I admire the people that inspired me to do this thing, right? I admire DJ Capital, DJ Speedster, DJ Milkshake, DJ Dimples. They are super important. They are super important. Hip hop, DJs were super important in hip hop because if Stogie had just made a record, he needed Party Time to go play this record out like at the Joel so that people can like vibe out with it or whatever. Whatever happens to the song, right? That era of VG, Speedster, all of these guys, they had that. And that's the golden era of hip hop, right? But then
The true A&Rs.
right?
True A&Rs,
I guess so. I don't know.
The true
But-
A&Rs. No, the true
A&Rs for
A&Rs,
sure, though. That's a
because
fact.
Dimples was telling us when I was sending him
How the crowd
reason
reacts.
songs, he was like, "Yo, I need something for these people, bro."
The DJs would tell the artists how the
I
crowd
need something
reacts.
for these
to the
guys,
track.
and we're like, "Okay, yo, Reece, yo, we need a."
And,
Do you
and
have that today?
no, so to get to that is that they had like a good 3 years or however that thing was long for. And then homies started getting too comfortable and started playing the gatekeeping thing, where it's like, there was a lot of like dope young homies. I'm here because I had to fight those niggas. Whether it was physical or verbally,
Damn.
I had to do that. As a youngin', I had to do that, right? To stand my ground. Because I
I
believe
remember
in
a lot
something.
of times telling Party Time to pa, relax.
Relax up. So these guys ain't even dope, man. And they trying to play after me, man.
But what I'm trying to say is that what they were doing in the beginning was so important because it would grow the culture so much. Today, it's like the internet is growing the culture on its own. Like, they don't really need DJs anymore to spin the records, right? But it would have been like the time that when people felt like hip-hop is dead or whatever, what's hip-hop you feeling? DJs were the ones responsible to be there and carry this thing and fight for this thing. But there was no DJs left, bro. At all.
And
There was
speaking
no
of
DJs
that,
left.
there's a time in hip hop where it was dying. And this was because artists wouldn't collaborate with each other. Because after the poverty stage of hip hop, everybody started to make it. And that making it at that time was at least a rent at the crib, because no one was buying property. It was a rent at the crib, it was fresh gear for the performance, and being able to pay transport without, niggas ain't even buy Vitos then. There were no Vianos.
You had your Mexican.
You had your Mexican, and he had to get a taxi.
Bro, I used to sleep at Father Coffee after my gigs.
That's crazy.
And get the taxi at 3 in the morning.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Shout out to Cedric Muzaga, the
Yeah,
photographer.
shout out Cedric.
He
I
took me
think
off the
also,
streets.
I
But
think
Dumi, what
also,
Everyday people stories. He took me off the streets.
what a lot of people, the thing what makes hip hop really, really dope is collaboration.
Yeah.
I think even the most incognito people, and I think, I hate to put you on blast, but like Reece, you can speak on this. Even the most incognito people in the game, hip hop is built on a backbone of collaboration. Whether it's like the rapper and the producer, the song and the DJ,
Down to the audience.
promoters, and that's what I was
The live
actually
performance of
about to
collaboration
say.
with the audience.
That's what I was about to say. Is hip hop is very cool, and it always speaks to the people who are in it. Whether you're in it as a rapper, a DJ, or you're a manager, or you're an A&R, or whatever. What actually the biggest part of the hip hop collaboration is the audience, and I think that's where when the conversation comes about like, oh no, hip hop is dead. It's like, let's think about the audience though. Because I think when you talk about even television and where the state of journalism and like producing this thing is, people are taking what like mainstream and the people who are producing content are making it for the people who are consuming it. And the level that you guys are consuming it at is the level that they're gonna consistently give it to you at, you know? So as much as like it's us, it's also like you guys. So as much as you guys can be like, oh, the rappers are this, the rappers are that.
You too.
We have to like put some spotlight on the audience because as much
Because
as
if you guys didn't buy the whack joints, then the dope guys would be like, now I wanna be heard. If you guys really tweeted, did everything you do for the whackness, and this is also something to be said, because the dope singers don't ever go to idols. But we need our audience. Like, there's a lot of the whack audience and they doing their job for the whack artists. I didn't mention any names, but if
I was gonna say,
if the shoe
change the
fits,
language.
you feel it. Understand? If the glass is empty, then feel it. You understand? Yeah. So we need our dope audience to stand behind us, you know? And
But that's one thing that I will say Reece has gotten right.
thank you.
And for me, like,
thank you.
I always wanted, like, I just wanted to be on UTV because that was like on TV, 3 p.m., super duper mainstream, like o'clock, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's where hip hop is, and that's where it is right now. But then you get those like purists, like, let me tell you something. It doesn't matter what time it is. Like, it's not about a summer drop, a winter drop, or whatever drop. Like, if Reece is like, yay, it's happening.
We outside.
It's happening, you know what I mean? And that's on audience. That's like a brilliant relationship between like the artist and the music and the audience and everything working
And in
together.
different ways, you guys have done that, you know? Like Party did backyard parties South.
The house parties.
And when he said, like, this guy would be off the gram for like 6 months, but when he goes, yo, South, we're doing it, everyone rocks up. You did the same thing. Moons, you have to understand that when you were doing your thing and coming in as a woman in this entertainment game, especially hip hop, especially TV, Moons, you had a bald head. There was no weave on you. Let's start there.
No track, nigga.
Okay, and let's end there, because I think we can fill in the gaps after that. But you did that, my nigga. And also, one of the first ladies I seen like really endorse street style. There's a different street style. You made, girls came up after you like,
Absolutely.
I saw them in the streets, like I wanna look like her now. Shout out.
Funny story, because Party Time is here. I think I made Party Time whenever I met him. And I was like I'm a bad bitch, I'm wearing heels and freaking dress, put your freaking dress on,
where your
very
sneakers
Beyonce. Babe, like Party Time used to tell me so many
Where
times,
your
like,
sneakers at?
can you just wear some jeans? And for me, I was like, I never thought about jeans and it's crazy because like, as a material, you can very much compare denim to hip hop.
Definitely.
It stood the test of time.
Definitely.
It can do different designs, different whatever.
Didn't
And
we
Party
build
Time-
out denim?
That's a fire
Hip hop
analogy.
built denim.
Exactly. Like,
Hip hop and skating
let me
built
tell you
denim.
something. Party Time always just tell me Spooder too, but like, and Spooder was my man, so I was like, but like when Party Time said it, I was like, okay, let me wear these sneaks, let me do this thing. And shout out to Ricky, because Ricky said, listen to the kids. And I literally, after just being like, let me listen to this kid, I have now got award-winning stuff.
I want to know from you, dude, what do you consider a classic? Not from writing, from listening. Because that influences your writing.
So like, do you want like references of songs I
want
consider a classic?
all of it.
An album I would consider a classic is Acceptance Speech, of course. AKA's Levels, of course. I mean, and
Even go overseas.
And also Casper's Tolofelo is a classic
Umako.
in my eyes. Because
Umako.
like I said, for me, the main thing is, does it stand the test of time? Can people still enjoy it 10 years later, you know? Even if it's in a different way, like, oh man, this used to be such a party track. It was dope, but now it's like, you know, it brings some humor to my
Tell
life
me
or
now
whatever it is. But I see it that way. My main thing is if it stands the test of time, because I honestly don't have a technical answer for you, because when I personally go in the booth, I do what I feel. And then the people decide, yo, this is a classic, yo, this is a hit, or whatever the case may be. So my main thing is if it stands the test of time. I still listen to Illmatic, you know what I mean? I still listen to Get Rich or Die Trying. I still listen to Nothing Was the Same. I still listen to Sideline Story by J. Cole, and I consider them classics.
Love that guy.
You know? Because they can take me throughout, they can go with me throughout my whole journey of life and still have meaning and purpose.
I'm gonna go deeper.
So,
I'm gonna
yeah.
go deeper, and I love the fact that you said test of time. Cool. And that's broad. That's broad. Now I want the magnifying glass on your answer.
I mean, I would start with the knowledge. You know, when you kind of have the knowledge of whatever it is you're into, it's kind of easy for you to decipher what is and what's not. So I would say if you do the history on hip hop, you know, and if you make it a fun thing to do, when you listen to albums that I've mentioned, it's easy to nitpick and be like, oh, I get the nuances. So I would say number one, relatability. You know, like when I go into the booth, I'm like, I'm gonna speak about myself because I know for sure there's someone out there that's gonna get it. You know what I mean? There's no way I'm alone in this. And I'm sure you feel the same, even if you conscious or not conscious about it, but you're like, I'm just gonna do me, bruh, and whatever it is that comes after that, that's what it is. So I would say relatability. I would say moments, you know, moments too. I mean, we could talk about Hennessy. I remember the first time I heard Hennessy on the record was when I heard the Genesis on Illmatic. And That nigga was like, yo, where the Phillies at? Yo, take this Hennessy. Yeah,
Touching my
and it's like, yo, what the fuck is this? You know what I mean? So, and it's like, what the hell is this? Yeah, and hearing, you know, moments like that, and then that made me want to know what the hell that is. That's a moment for me. You know what I mean? So I feel like relatability, moments, and I mean, honestly, the rest, I don't know, man. It depends on the people. I can't be here and tell you, you have to know what beats to pick, or you have to know what.
Okay, let me
what
rephrase the
rhymes to,
question.
you know what I mean?
What makes a classic to you? You've mentioned maybe 2 parts. I want more. To you. Because evidently, what matters to you matters to a whole lot of people.
And it's mostly that, bro. It's mostly that, because the reason why I'm answering it this way is
Do
because
clothes matter to you?
no, it don't. It doesn't. That's why I'm giving you what I'm giving you. The clothes to me, they don't matter. But obviously, if we're talking about people that I'm listening to, there's certain people that had an impact on how I dress. Like,
But
oh,
yeah,
shit,
you
I
still
see,
have an
you know what I mean?
aesthetic.
But
even though clothes don't matter to
Exactly,
you, you still have
I
an
have
aesthetic.
an aesthetic,
What is
but-
your aesthetic?
my aesthetic is keeping it simple. It's keeping it simple.
you know what I
I mean,
always say,
if
like-
if I'm gonna rock Tim's with a jean and a white tee, you already know what to identify that with, and it's simple at the same time. So
No fuss, no frills.
I always say like
Exactly.
people, and I'm not. No, you've got an aesthetic, you've got a style, but like, I always be like, wow, Moose, you always put that together so well. You know me, I have no style. No, that's your style.
No style is no style.
No.
style
it's
is a
your
style.
And that's what people don't realize is
Yeah.
that having no style.
Is a style. Drake is the most non-stylish nigga. Sorry, he's a wrong example. He doesn't have anything. It doesn't work there. Sorry, it's a wrong example.
I don't know,
works
Drizzy
sometimes.
Drake.
I fuck with
Drizzy
Drake. Shout out
Drake.
Drake,
That's my
man.
boy, but I don't
it
talk
works
about him.
sometimes.
OVO. OVO.
Shout out OVO. Shout out
OVO.
Drake. We love Drake.
We love Drake, but not for the clothes.
Yeah. But I think a lot of the times in questions why a lot of things are so debatable is we're always trying to like define the answers, but we also have to make sure we're clear on the question. Because when we talk about golden, it's like what golden means win. Was it the best selling? Did everybody like it? Do you know what I mean? And I think that's what all of us like, there's a nice balance that we all strike is that there's a level of mainstream and that people know, which I think is important. Like,
It is.
and I even have a bar like, yeah, you got the buzz, but you're a star, you got a little gas. Will it get you far? You know what I mean? Like, you got like a little gas. Like, there's a thing about like being cool, but will it get you to there? And there's a thing about like being there, but like, what's the salt or what's the
Even when
substance?
you're there, can you get down to the people?
What's the substance, you know? And I think Hennessy as a brand has been able to like ride
We're gonna
all
get to
those
that.
waves.
Are we
you know?
already on that?
And that's actually the thing about like being successful in hip hop, and what has made hip hop successful is that it speaks to the mainstream. It's bankable. You can put your money on that, but at the same time, it's like really on the street. It's like 3 a.m. in the morning when nobody else is going to be there. Hip hop is there, you know.
And ndifuna ukubuza into kule nto uyithethileyo. Individually, everybody else, like what was the classic album to you in South Africa based on what you said?
Acceptance speech.
Got you.
I don't think we have a classic essay album. And
Whoa, wait. I just want to hear the people outside going, I don't think we have.
I don't think we have. I
crazy.
think, you know, classic is unskippable. Classic is definitely relatability. What it did for you, like acceptance speech did for you. What what other albums did for people. But you know, for me, it's a very, very high, like
Are you hard to
standard.
please?
No, it's just a high standard. Like, you know, like
Are you hard to please?
What makes a classic for you?
So, like I said, it's unskippable. It's timeless. It's absolutely timeless. Where, you know, you can shoot a video for it today and
Right.
it still resonates.
Right.
You know, like some of the singles or some of the
That is
songs
the,
in there.
that's the meaning of the word classic.
I mean, absolutely.
The video one, I've never looked at that one. Guys, can you listen to it in 82, 94? Shoot a video for it in 2023.
Right,
J. Cole
right,
shot videos
right.
for Forest Hills Drive like years later, right? Bryson Tiller did the same thing for
Right.
his
Yeah, but
amazing
I'm just
album.
trying to make sure this nigga stand on what he's saying.
I am. I'm
Alright,
standing
word,
on it.
let
I'm
me-
standing on. So I think
Word.
they're very close. All the albums you mentioned are very close to me to being like.
To me, do you find it
The
hard to
closest-
give props to other people?
No, absolutely not. I did a
Do
show.
you think
I did a show called Verse of the Year where all I did was
Oh,
give
yeah,
props.
actually, that kills
Okay.
everything.
We
But if you weren't getting paid, would you still doing that? Because Tommy did Verse of the Year with Slikour OnLife.
No,
and
no. It started before there was a check.
Okay.
It was me and this brother here
Okay.
having a conversation. I used to
Alright.
do it. Slicker, where I used to do it, I used to do it on my Instagram.
Wow.
I used to give flowers to rappers. I used to say, yo, that's my favorite verse.
I was watching,
Here's
bro.
a verse. You,
Alright.
Come on, I say, yo, this is, you know
I
what I
was
mean?
watching,
So
bro,
it was.
so you're not a hater.
I'm not a hater. I'm
In
not a
terms,
hater.
in terms of one song or verse, but may you be a hater on albums? I'm just asking.
No, I'm not. Remember, I've released albums in this country too. So I consider, I'm also saying
I'm
mine
saying,
are
yeah.
not classic. That's what I'm saying. So hear it in that sense,
It's
right?
inclusive.
So I'm saying like, you know, and that's just cause. That's just cause.
You are such a difficult brother.
No,
bro.
that's just cause they to me they might
To
be.
me, you're really saying there's no classic in
so
SA.
what's the missing factor? Because you said what makes
No,
it classic
talk-
is definitely
No.
because it's timeless. You know,
This is
all that.
look. We're getting off the tracks. I'm just saying. Let's rather switch it.
Yeah.
So I think the albums you mentioned are really amazing albums, and they're the closest to like being
Not
classics.
classic.
I'm very close to being classics.
Yeah.
Like what's it? I think the closest to me,
Thank you.
the
Can we
closest
hear
to
it?
being a classic
Probably gonna say Illmatic.
is A-Reece.
Oh yeah, A-Reece is definitely a classic.
Is the
though.
closest to me is like when I hear that album
Unstoppables.
top to
That's
bottom,
a
I
classic
go
to me.
it's pretty much got you know and it's just that guy that there's that battle rapper in me that's like Esh, I wish he had a little bit
A few more in there.
That's it.
I can tell you my top one classic album right
one.
now. Top one right now. And it's something that I've been going through for the last month. Right? Realistically, right? Yeezus by Kanye West.
Can I get a South African?
That was a fire album. I also
Okay,
liked
okay.
it.
I know.
Guys, can
I
we get
liked
a
it
South
as soon
African
as
one?
it came out. Actually.
I've looked
And
at
if you
it.
don't have one,
I
say
do.
it.
I have a couple, bro, but like
Give me 3.
I'll give you levels. Like I said, I agree with what Moozlie said. Levels are A-Reece and I'm stuck. So this is the thing. I'm stuck between Paradise and either Bad
Let
Hair
me
or
give you
like
5.
Or Avery.
Let me
No,
give you
A-Reece
5.
was already there.
Let me give you 5. You new age. I cannot hold you to the same things.
Yeah, you can't. You can't.
So you got 2 more. So you got A-Reece. And then
I also feel the same.
Bad
I also
Hair?
feel the same.
You say what?
Now I need one last one that you didn't think about. Because the other 2 you thought about. That's why I gave you 5. So you mentioned?
Yeah, word.
I'm gonna go left and I'm just gonna say, but that's not an album. It's a tape.
give me the albums you mentioned.
The Okay Malum Cool Cat. Yeah.
Oh. No,
You know
because
what's so crazy to me is that, and that's the thing about hip hop, it's so constantly evolving, so
But people forget that
crazy.
people
the
like
fact
to
that there's
box
still
it
people
in a
who,
way that
like,
they understand
share
it.
100K Makazette and they don't even know
was
that
a
was him
mixtape.
do. Like they've never even heard him do. When they hear him do, they're like, yo, Shai remake. You know those people who hear Wild Thoughts and they're like, oh, they don't even know
yeah.
Santana.
Oh shit, yeah.
Like and that's the thing about hip hop. It has a really dope way of just making an old thing new, but still respecting.
shout outs to the skill
What
of
it
sampling.
was.
It's because of sampling. This is why Kanye West is Kanye
But I
West.
also throw
It goes
blueprints
back
in
to
there.
the-
And that's
Of
not
course
even
not.
South African,
No,
but like,
I distinctly ask you for SA ones because you were mentioning American ones.
yeah, I listen to it.
As long as party time, it's always gonna be okay, Malum Cool Cat.
Uncle.
That's my father, yeah. For sure.
Malume.
So can you mention them
That's
again?
your father.
I said A-Reece. I
Done.
said Paradise. I said Bad Hair.
Done.
I said Smith's Joint.
There was this one last one I'm waiting for.
Levels.
I would like to find out from you guys, what do you think makes Hennessy a classic brand? And in that, what does a classic brand entail? So that question, ixube yonke loo nto leyo. What does a classic brand entail, and what makes Hennessy a classic brand? Siqala kuwe.
I tried to respond in Xhosa, but
Ungasabi boy. Ungoyiki bye. Ungoyiki bye.
bro, I've been obsessed. There's specific brands that I've been like that model of marketing that I've been obsessed by, where it's like those brands didn't have to put up like big billboards to sell the brand, or like I don't know, whatever marketing thing at the time
They
feels
didn't
cool
spend
to
much
do.
money on, because they didn't have it.
But okay, look,
advertising.
yeah, but like the what I see with Hennessy is like, back in the day, they got the community thing, and I don't think they went there and they had a plan. And they were like, yo, we're gonna get these guys to do this and that, whatever. It was just like a community. It's like what Ghost Slows, when you shout Ghost Slows in the hood, it's just like, it's there, and we appreciate it in the way that it is and what it's for, right? And that's what Hennessy was for hip hop, right? As a culture. And that's, to answer your question, that's like how I've always viewed it, like how I've seen it, without mentioning the
Did
other
you
brands.
drink Hennessy before you listened to hip hop?
No.
Or was hip hop the
I was an athlete at the time, so I wasn't drinking or smoking.
and
Yeah.
can you tell when the first time you had a sip of Hennessy and were like, okay? If you can remember,
I
because
can, I definitely can. It was 2015, late 2015, and no, it was actually 2016 now. So I was Usanele's tour DJ from Boys and Bumps.
I remember that.
And when we started doing the shows, the riders are coming out, and I was like, oh, what the fuck? Oh,
I heard you saying, what's a rider? Do we
Yeah.
have to get on top of it? Like, maybe, but somehow not.
That's not what happened, but that's not what happened.
Yeah.
But that was the first time of me getting exposed to these things like riders and whatever. And unfortunately in South Africa, that's how this brand looks like. But where I see it from what I've seen online is what I tried to say in the beginning. But my first experience of the drink was through a rider with another artist that I was learning from.
Nice.
That's what's up.
Moozlie?
So I definitely don't remember the first time I ever drank Hennessy. But as a person who works behind the scenes with brands, like I'm a creative director, I'm a stylist, I'm an influencer, and also just being a brand themselves, I will know that one thing that makes a brand is not the product that they're selling, but what it stands for. And I think over the years, Hennessy has stood for the same things. And that's what makes it like a dope brand, you know, from Tupac to Tejo Hennessy. Like it always stands for the same
That's
thing.
the most I've heard Hennessy on a song.
And I was gonna say, like, what was the first time you ever heard Hennessy? Like, that was one of the questions we got. And I've never really been cognizant of the fact, and that's what's dope about Hennessy is it's always been there. It's as old as hip hop. It's always been a brand that's been there, but you've never been cognizant about that fact. But I remember like hearing Tejo Hennessy for the first time, living it, seeing it, drinking it, feeling it. I was like, this is a brand that's actually real. It speaks to us. It's beyond what's in the bottle.
I think the reason I think that Hennessy is a classic brand, and it very much mirrors like what hip hop is, right?
Yes.
In the sense that driving with my cousins and seeing a billboard with Rakim, right? And they don't know who Rakim is, and I'm geeking. I'm going,
Where'd you see that?
in Soweto, like years ago.
A billboard
where
of
he's
Rakim.
holding
I
the
do
mic like
remember.
this.
I do
In
remember.
Yeah, in
Soweto.
Soweto, yeah. Like
They used to have the thesis gigs, and they had a.
they had a billboard with Rakim holding the mic stand like this, and I was like, yo, you guys know who that is? And it always felt like it was like inside, like they were inside, like they knew what no one else knew, like they were in on it. You know what I mean? It's like knowing that, like I used to say, like that dude wearing baggy pants, that guy know, okay.
It's like the texture of hip hop. You're in on what not everyone else
hip.
is in
We're
on.
hip. The hip part of hip hop. You're hip on something, right? So they always felt like they were hip on it. And just as the eldest one here, for me, the thing that resonates with me, like with the Hennessy, right, is that at all my levels, as I leveled up, there was always a type of Hennessy. You feel me? There was always, so for me, it's like, yeah, I might not touch this one.
Sorry, to me, say that again.
That's how I said, how old are you?
Wait,
That's
guys,
how old you are.
May you say that again? Say that again.
Just like at every level,
Run it back.
at every level, you know, where I've leveled up, there's always been a type of Hennessy. You know
So
what
we
I
start from Hennessy, then we have Hennessy VS.
Right.
Then we have Hennessy VSOP.
Right.
Then we have Hennessy XO.
Right.
Then we have Hennessy Paradiso. It rhymes.
Right. So in fact, that, you know, when I was in Monaco, that's what I was having. I was like, oh my God, I'm having last stop. I'm like, yo, I'm you know, but again, it's part of the idea of like aspiration, part of like, you know, people think this, you know, money and trying to achieve something, the very new Puff Daddy thing in hip hop, but like, no, old school raps were like, yo, get money, go shopping. It was always part of like.
Rakim and Eric B are wearing Louis Vuitton, Gucci,
Exactly, yeah.
and on top of a Benz.
Dapper Dan with the chains, with the gold, everything.
Word
So
up.
it's like there's a level of aspiration and hustle and grind and achievement that it always has, you know, it's always run kind of congruent and parallel with, you know, our growth. So to me, I always feel like, you know, and it's hip and they've always kind of got it, you know? I mean, come on, bro. Rakim, then Nas,
And the fact that
Enough
everyone
said. Enough said.
Listen, that's Reece. It's Reece. It's MI. It's Manifest.
Yep.
You feel me? It's like, yo.
and the fact that everyone was saying it before incidental exposure or advertising.
Right.
It was just a part of
People were just speaking
Yeah,
it.
right there,
You said
bro.
what? 2,000 and what? 2,500 mentions?
back.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
What's
for
it?
sure.
Nas affirmative action. AZ goes, sit back, relax.
It was written.
Sit back, relax,
I sipped
catch
it.
a cognac. No, catch a contact,
Cognac.
sipping.
Cognac.
No, he didn't even pronounce it
didn't
well.
mention it, but he
No,
said
no,
cognac.
he didn't pronounce it. He mispronounced it. He said, sip this cognac.
Cognac.
He said,
catch
sip
a contact.
this cognac, catch
Sip
a
the
contact, sip the
cognac.
cognac.
That's how you
don't
know.
even know
Right.
how to
That's
say
how you
it.
know niggas
You know,
was
you
just
know,
put on.
your guy, when your
love
guy Ye says, I don't even know how to pronounce it. Like,
Hashtag
what's that
Versace.
shit? So I'm saying, that's how aspirational it was. People like,
Even in South Africa,
I
they
don't even
called it
know how to
cognac.
say it.
They called it
But I'm
cognac
like-
before.
I quoted that, I know for
They
sure.
called it cognac.
I'm gonna say what I said about what makes a classic album, which is standing the test of time. I mean, the bottle says 1735, right?
Bro.
And we're still here, bro. You know what I mean? It's synonymous with hip hop. Hip hop started years after that. So for me, what makes it a classic brand is because it stands the test of motherfucking time.
Respect.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. I'm not gonna have these people have their glasses up for too long. I'ma cheers it.
Yes.
Worked out.
Danke siyabonga. Danke to Hennessy. Danke to hip hop. Danke to Osmic. Slikour OnLife. You should watch it and tell a friend. Thank you to everyone that was on set. And I mean you guys over there too. Can I get a clap? I love it. It's 50 years of hip hop, 40 years in SA. We know what we're doing over here.
Cheers to that.
Cheers.
Some say you were born 50 years ago. Other people say you've been with us all along. In all our praise songs and our blues notes. You are the vibration of the people. Through your reflection, we can see where we've been, where we are, and where we're going. Happy 50th birthday, hip hop. The world is yours. Nas.
A Slick OnLife special.